Good afternoon. My name is John McGarry from WebWorks, and you're welcome today to this presentation co-hosted by WebWorks.ie and ISME, the Irish Small and Medium Enterprise Association, on pay-per-click marketing and how you can use it to improve your position in your marketplace. Why would you want to improve your position in your marketplace? Well, positioning is not expertise. Positioning is being known for your expertise and trusted for your expertise. You can be the best in your marketplace, but if nobody knows it, it's not much good to you. If you are regarded as the expert in your business, if you have assumed that position, then business will gravitate towards you and you will not be as price sensitive as other people. Many people work hard to improve their position in the marketplace. You can think of the likes of Eddie Hobbs, who by appearing on TV and radio and writing in print has improved his position, and I'm sure business comes to him on a daily basis because of it. The publishing industry today, business books, I'd imagine half the business books printed today are really done not for circulation purposes, but to improve the position of the author, to establish his position as an expert. The print industry has accommodated this, and you can now get books printed on very short runs where before that was not possible. But anyway, not everybody can print books, be on radio, appear on TV. So today's webinar will show you how you can use Facebook to improve your positioning. This strategy will allow you to do this quickly and cost effectively, and I am sure it's an accessible strategy for all businesses out there today. So please watch the next 10 slides. It's a short webinar and you will get an insight on how to implement this strategy. At the end there will be contact details for myself, John McGarry, and for ISME if you have any questions. Okay, positioning. Fast track reaching expert status with your target audience using Facebook. So on we go. So what are the elements of this strategy? The first thing we need is a profile of your target audience. We need to know who we're targeting. You need to know who potentially are your customers out there. Who do you want to improve your status with? As I said previously, the core of this strategy is content. You need great content to make this strategy work. So we need to get that content created. And then we need a way of delivering that content, which in this case is going to be Facebook. So they're the three pillars of this strategy. But at the center of it is great content. Without great content, the rest of it falls apart. So what makes great digital content? I suppose the first thing to say is, because this is based on content, this is not a bluffer's charter. Not anybody can come along here and just assume the position. You need to know what you're talking about. But a lot of people I talk to would have trouble generating content. They can't think of anything that they think people would want to hear. But every time you solve a problem, there's a story there the potential customers want to hear. Testimonials from your existing clients telling how you fixed problems for them, made their life better, would be great content, again, that potential customers would want to hear. Instructional videos on how to do certain things can be great content for people and go down very well online. So there's lots and lots you could write about that other people out there will find interesting. I suppose a key feature of this is naked sales pitches are not what you want to generate here. That will just put people off. What you want to be doing here is creating content that will make people's life easier, help them make better decisions, and it's content that is given to help them. It's not given to sell to them. So the defenses are down and they're more receptive to it. So that's the great content. We need to get that, and that can be done in video form. You know, it can be done in text and some blog posts. You can even do audio files. That content can be delivered in many ways. Video works very well these days and people are getting very used to it, but it probably is a good idea to mix up the different content types that you use: video, text and audio. Okay, so who's this content for? Who are your customers? So you need to look at your customer base and you need to profile them. You might find there's 3 or 4 different types of customers that you have, but you need to give them different sections of your customer base a name and find out what common interests or features do these people have, what problems or concerns do they share. You need to know your customers and you need to know how to identify them. And that brings us on then to Facebook. And from here on in, really, I want you to think of Facebook like a profiling engine. A bit like a program I like is called Criminal Minds. And in Criminal Minds, what happens is these profilers come along and they look at a crime scene, and based on what they see there, they profile the crime scene, and then they find a perpetrator to match the profile of the crime scene. In a sense, Facebook is your profiling engine, and Facebook will profile its members, so then hopefully you can match that profile against the profile that you've built up, the feature list that you've built up around your existing customers, and you're going to try and match them. Now, Facebook is an excellent profiling engine and it has lots of information on its billion-plus members. If you think about it, as soon as somebody joins Facebook, they hand over their name, their age, their gender, their educational qualifications, their location, where they currently work, family size. They give over loads of information. As they use Facebook, as they like posts, share comments, visit other people's Facebook pages, that is adding to Facebook's profile of their interests. As you trip through the web, a lot of information from a lot of websites, particularly websites that have Facebook like buttons on them, the information there is passing back into Facebook that you visited them, and that is then being added to your profile. And in America, and I'm sure if it's in America it'll arrive here soon, Facebook is buying information from external sources such as your purchase history, and it's adding that to your profile on Facebook as if you're a member of Facebook. So Facebook is not, for our purposes, a social network. It's a profiling engine, and it's profiling all its members. So what we can do then, what you want to do then is look at the profile you've built up of your existing customers, their interests, their concerns, their likes, and now see if you can match that against the options Facebook gives you when it's of its profile of its members. And here's just a list of some of the things that you can relate to, or some of the headers that Facebook offers you when it comes to the profiling. So if you wanted to target married men living in Dublin over 30, you can see there that the options there allow you to do that. If you wanted to target people who are farmers, you might think, okay, somebody who's a farmer might be interested in the Farmer's Journal. So if you look down there, magazines, books or films that they like. So that would be one way to target people who are interested in farming. If you were into sports, you could target people who like GAA, like soccer, like basketball. Like I personally have ran campaigns for people photographers wanting to target people who are getting married, so marital status is in there and engagement is one of them. I've targeted people who are interested. I've run advertising campaigns for people who want to target men aged between 18 and 25 who want to learn to do welding, and I managed to target that group very successfully through Facebook. So really, you have the profile of your existing customers, you built that profile up. You need to get into Facebook's profiling engine and see if you can match them too, because if Facebook can give you a profile that matches the profile of your existing customers, you're in business. So what do we do next? As I said, really at the core of this, what we're talking about is content. So the thing we need to do now is take your great content and put it on Facebook. So with the images you can see there, I once did a blog post and it was about remarketing. It's a thing you can do on Google and Facebook. Now, I wanted to target people who were business owners and who also like Father Ted. So you can see the picture of Miss Doyle. That was the post that I created, and that graphic there on Facebook linked to my blog post on my website. So that's very important. So my Facebook post on my content was there, but it linked, if somebody clicked on that graphic, it went to the full version of this on my blog. Now, I don't have that many likes on my business Facebook page. So what I could do was, if I was relying on organic reach, if I was relying on Facebook just to hand my blog post or my Facebook post out to the few people that have liked my page, I wouldn't have got a great result. So instead what I did was I used Facebook's advertising platform to promote my blog post to the profile of people I thought that I wanted to target. So that was business people living in Ireland who run their own business and who liked Father Ted. And that was several thousand people. And I was then able to use Facebook's advertising platform to push my blog post, my Facebook post, into their timeline. Then obviously, if once that appears in their timeline, if they feel that's interesting, they click on it and they're on my website. So I have now driven people who I think are potential customers for me from Facebook to my website to read my content. And hopefully they'll find that content interesting. So that's the genius. At this point, I am using Facebook's advertising platform. Every time somebody clicks on a link, I owe Facebook whatever the cost for that traffic, but I'm driving targeted traffic from Facebook to my website for information. I'm not driving them to promote a product, I'm not driving them to promote a service, I'm just driving them there, paying advertising to get them there to advertise My Genius, to show them there's content that I think you would be interested in. And that's the core of this. Bring them to your site, give them content that they think is interesting so that your status is enhanced with them. Now obviously you just don't want to do this once. You know, Rome didn't get built in a day, and trust and expert status is not established overnight. This is a process that you want to repeat again and again with great content. And then the people that you're targeting get used to you being the source of great informative information. This raises your status with them and puts you in the pole position when they move to a position where they need to buy a service that you offer. You are the person in pole position because you're the person who's established your credibility with them, and they will come to you. And that is why we're doing this strategy, so that business will gravitate to you. This is a little graphic that kind of summarizes this. You can see you start off with your great content, your video, your blog, or your testimonials, and they go onto your website. And then from there, you put that onto your Facebook page, but having it linked back to your website. So that's what that kind of double directional arrow is about. But once it's on your Facebook page, you then push that out to your Facebook target audience using Facebook's advertising platform. And at that point, you're now paying for traffic. And the people in your Facebook target audience who liked your content will click on it, and they're brought back to your website. So you have that virtuous circle of people going through Facebook and back to your website. And if you keep that up, you will establish expert status. Now there's one cool thing that I think you need to remember here. Once you create a blog post and you promote it once, that's not the end of it. If your content doesn't date, you might find that 6 or 8 or 10 months down the line, something happens that makes your blog post relevant again. Now don't be at all afraid to re-promote the same post down the line again to the same group. Don't think just because you do it once you can't do it again. I often see people re-promote a strategy 3, 6, 8 months down the line because something has happened external to them that has made that blog post relevant again, and they want to ride that wave of interest. So just because you post it once doesn't mean you can't post it again. The digital content you create, you can use again and again. So what do you want to do next? Well, if you feel that this strategy has been useful to you, if you feel that there's something in this that you would benefit from being an expert in your group and be regarded as expert with your product and service in your target market, then I suppose you've got 2 choices. If you want to run this strategy for yourself, but maybe you need some help with the Facebook end of it, ISME runs some excellent Facebook training days. And you can contact Liz at isme.ie for more information on that, and her phone number is there. If you'd rather a more done-for-you solution, you can of course contact me at my email address or at the phone numbers given. And there's a free consultation will be available to anybody who calls. And if you wish to get a transcript of the slides that we show here, that you've seen here, you can see the link here. So again, thank you very much. I hope you found this webinar informative. Again, this has been brought to you by Webworks and ISME, and we hope this helps improve your business. Thank you very much. My name is John McGarry.